Hi, everybody. This is Professor Ford. I have been asked to comment a little bit on COVID 19 and how it affects the economy. And I thought the best thing I could do is just use some of the tools we've already used in the class, and that is supply and demand. So, you macroeconomic students, I'm posting this to all my classes. You macroeconomic students will be covering aggregate supply and aggregate demand later in the course. And that'll be a similar analysis. But what I'm going to do, just by way of example, is how this affected the airline industry. You know, we've never seen anything quite like this, certainly not in my lifetime, and I can't think of anything in history that was quite like this, where the economy just stopped. And it was by choice. Okay, it wasn't from any economic weakness. It was that this disease was running around and we just had to stop. We had to go to our homes and sit there. And unless you could work from home, you pretty much just stopped working and production stopped producing. So it just kind of shut down the economy. Not let's look at supply and demand for airlines. Here we are. Here's the price, quantity. Here's the supply. As the price gets higher, let's see. Here we go. As the price, low prices, here's the quantity supplied, high prices, here's the quantity supplied. So the higher the prices airlines can charge, the higher the price they can get away with. Okay, they're going to everything else equal, they're going to supply more flights. I should probably say let's do this in terms of number of flights. That's the quantity. Okay, and demand. Well, here's the demand. Consumer demand. That's here are these high prices. People aren't going to fly as much. Low prices, lots of flying. And of course, here's our equilibrium. Equilibrium quantity and equilibrium price. So what happened? With COVID-19, people are now sitting at home. Okay, they're either sitting at home working or sitting at home just sitting at home. Okay, they're not going out except to buy groceries, things like that. Not much traveling going on, not even much business traveling going on. So the demand for flights shifts to the left. And so what happens there? Well, the price would fall. We've got, here's our new price, here's our new quantity. But that isn't the only change, okay? What happens is that airlines, they start canceling flights. They have less flights at any price, which means or fewer flights at any price, which means the supply curve is going to shift to the left. In fact, airlines are, parking planes. I mean, they're just taking their planes to, some storage area, and they're just sitting there. They're sitting there idle. I've seen photographs, maybe you have seen those too, of planes just sitting there. And what happens here is we have, the way I drew it, here's the new equilibrium. Equilibrium price stays the same, and now we've got much fewer flights. However, that's not quite what happened. What happened was, if you've been paying attention, not just fewer flights, but lower prices, way lower prices, which tells us that the demand curve shifted further back than the supply curve. So what we've seen is something like this. Here's our new equilibrium. Here's our new equilibrium price. Here's our new equilibrium quantity. So quantity falls, our equilibrium quantity falls from here to here, equilibrium price from here to here. So what that is let me use a different color here. The demand curve shifts, clear back here. The supply curve shifts clear back here. And there we are. Just a dramatic slowdown of the economy. So this is what we're really focusing in on right here. Quantity falls all the way from here. So what else happens? When you've got the number of flights, and maybe I should put that down as the number of seats, because airlines have been selling fewer seats on planes to maintain some social distancing, or so they claim. Now, I've seen passengers dispute that, and they will take a picture with their phone showing, no, those middle seats are indeed full. But anyway, the airlines said they're going to stop doing that. They're going to start filling the planes up, if they haven't already, and require masks instead. So anyway, this sort of thing has played out in many, many industries. So what else happens when quantity falls from here to here? Okay. Well, if they're not producing as much as they did before, in the case of the airlines, they're laying off pilots, they're laying off flight attendants, ground crew. Okay. Again, this is played out in the restaurant industry. It's been played out in manufacturing, all over the place, where simply, workers now stay at home. Therefore, they're not going to work and producing, so supply is shifting to the left. People don't have the money to buy, so demand is shifting to the left. Or if they do have the money, they aren't getting out and buying. Of course, you can buy online a lot of things, but the uncertainty has been a great factor here. Uncertainty is driving this. Nobody really knows. So let's say you were going to buy a new car. Probably not going to buy it, after this thing hits. Because even if you do have your job, you don't know for how long. How bad is this going to get? So people tend to stop spending. Even if they do have as much money as they did before, even if their jobs are secure, they stop spending just because they're nervous and they think they better hold back and save. So that's it. We have been shut down to a large extent. Unemployment has risen up above 10%, which is the highest it's been. Well, it was above 10. Oh gosh, it got up a little bit above 10 in the recession of 1982. I guess that's the last time the highest it's been since the Great Depression. Now I believe it's been higher than that. Up around 14, I think. I'd have to look. I can't remember the number, but it's been a little bit higher than 10. I mean, it's just completely shut us down. And supply, all because of this disease. Okay? If you can't go out and work, if you're going to get sick, you sit home and you don't produce. You don't produce, nothing's happening. No output, no demand, no nothing, and we're back here. And when's it going to end? Well, we thought it was coming to an end, sort of. Now it's flaring up again with all the people out and about. So, very frustrating. I guess the only cure, unfortunately, is an actual cure. It's some kind of vaccine, I hope. We all hope some smart scientist will figure out something, because that's about the only thing that's going to get us back to normal.